Welcome back to Josh Does Math. Today we're taking the derivative of this function that involves a bunch of roots in it right here. And you can see that we're going to be using the chain rule. Just how many times are we going to be using the chain rule, and what are our functions going to be? Those are the questions for this problem. And usually the rule is it's going to be easier and you're less prone to make mistakes if you end up taking the derivative of more functions. In other words, if you break this up into many outer functions and many inner functions, because then your derivatives are going to be really simple. However, you're also going to be there for a lot of time taking all of your derivatives. So we want to try to find a balance between breaking it up into enough functions, but also having our derivatives be quick to evaluate. So I'll say dy dx is equal to, so I'm just setting up the chain rule so I know that this needs to be 1 plus root of 1 plus x. However, what can I take the derivative of that with respect to? Well, I can clearly see that this root on the outside is a power. So if my inner function is just whatever's on the inside of the power, then I can use the power rule for this whole derivative right here and I'll be good. So that works. What about d1 plus root of 1 plus x? What can I take the derivative of this with respect to? If you said x, well, we're not quite there yet. What about 1 plus x? 1 plus x would work. What about root of 1 plus x? Root of 1 plus x would also work, but that's an unnecessary step that will just make the chain longer. So you very easily could do the derivative of this with respect to root of 1 plus x, but we can skip just one step here and take the derivative of it with respect to 1 plus x, and the derivative of 1 plus x with respect to x, finally. So let's do this right here. So that means dy dx is equal to power rule, power out front, one smaller on the power. So one smaller on the power makes this a negative 1/2 power, times derivative of this with respect to 1 plus x. So derivative of 1 plus root of something with respect to that something. So this is going to be 0. This is going to be the power rule again. Power out front, one smaller on the power. And finally, the derivative of 1 plus x with respect to x. This is 0 and this becomes 1. So we're multiplying by 0 plus 1. We're multiplying by 1. Okay, we don't need to write that. So we can simplify this a little bit if we want. This will be 1 over 4 times root of 1 plus x times root of 1 plus root of 1 plus x. So I just took the roots of what I needed to and I moved them to the denominator here, along with our 2 factors of 1/2. So this is the final derivative right here. That's how you do a complicated chain rule problem like this. Thanks for watching.